Willpower Zone with Will Berry.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Willpower Zone. We keep powering on. So we're going to dive into something that I think is so important, especially for everyone to be able to implement into their strategies to be successful, which what I call is the success routine. The routine that's priming for anyone to take them to the next level, so they can be successful, accomplish their dreams, live their dream life, and do a variety of different things that they've always wanted to do. Because a life that's filled with regret and things that you never pursued, all because maybe either because there was a knowledge gap or there was more so a fear that was taken into account that led you to deciding to pass on an opportunity of a lifetime. So with the Willpower Zone, all I ask especially is just so that we can be able to grow this channel and everything else, make sure to like, subscribe, and sign up as a listener. We're on different platforms, especially one of the biggest ones, Spotify. Then if you're on YouTube, yes, make sure to like, subscribe, share it to someone that you know that will end up being of value, and of course would helping them out, especially during these times. So let's get right into it. So the ideal success routine. One of the very first things that someone has to do is really one of the biggest things is really the power of the morning rituals. So everybody has those different types of morning rituals that help them to be able to get their day going. And, I heard something, especially, I think it was, it may have been Tom Bilyeu, maybe, seeing one of his episodes through Impact Theory, which I highly recommend for someone who is looking to crush their goals and be able to stay accountable and wanting to be able to learn all the different practices and secrets from the leading people within their industry, whether it's coaching and business and real estate and a variety of different things. He interviews lots and lots of people, and I've learned a lot from the many people he's interviewed over the years. So one of the things he actually mentioned, I think it was a story. It was actually a device that, for people who have a really hard time waking up early in the morning, I believe it's actually him in particular, but he talked about especially his alarm clock. It's not his phone per se. It's this device that actually, once the alarm goes off, the actual clock itself actually rolls. So it makes it very, very hard where if you wanted to turn off the alarm on that clock, you have to get yourself out of bed and pretty much in many cases chase this clock. So in many cases it wakes you out of your slumber, and now you're awake and now you get to be able to start your day. So many people try different types of things. So I encourage you to kind of delve into really figuring out what that daily routine is going to be to kind of get your morning started, whether it's starting with a meditation. I encourage that. It's something that I do on a daily basis, and it really helps me out. Or, also setting the intention the night before. And, for me, I've always done this, especially is go to bed in my workout clothes, especially. So when I wake up, it's the first thing that I do and I tackle. So it makes it a little easier. And then I set my alarm. And then the night before, I set that intention to be able to wake up early in the morning to be able to get that done as first thing in the morning, as far as my workout and meditation, everything else, so I can really start my day. So the next thing after that is really prioritizing your tasks. And this is very important. And I encourage anyone, especially, get a notebook or, maybe get an app. The Note app is really actually good. But also you want to get something that also is going to remind you to keep certain tasks higher on the list than others. So especially, for myself, because I'm balancing a variety of different things and a variety of different, businesses that I do, I make sure that, with the highest priority in terms of the businesses that I know that will need more of my attention than the ones that may only require less of my attention, I put them higher up on the list. And then also I figure out, okay, well, what do I need to get done in terms of the particular business that I need to focus on? And what I do is basically just come up with different types of tasks and things I know that are most important that I need to get done for that day. And then on top of that, what I'll do is, instead of spending my whole day on a certain particular area, what I'll do is I'll have time blocks. And time blocks are important, whether that's, 1, 2 hours, or you may want to even do a 4 hour block. And sometimes that is really optimal for really, really getting things done and getting into the deep, deep work. Which is another good book I would recommend, actually, because it really talks about especially getting deep within the work that you have to do. But that's one of the strategies that I do in prioritizing, and then I work my way down the list and then time blocking it and making sure that it's keeping track of the time so then it doesn't spill into some of the other time that I need to devote to some of the other areas of things I need to get done. So I encourage you, prioritize your tasks, because then it will make it to where you can deal with, in many cases, the most important things first and then work your way down the list. Next thing after that is the art of breaks. Breaks are so important. Do have that kind of targeted throughout the day, or whether it's quick, either 10-15 minute break that you need to be able to implement, or as well as also maybe some type of lunch break of some sort, or just a mind recharge break, where you just take that time to just chill out for a moment, either meditate, just recharge, replenish, whatever you got to do, or maybe just to hang out with the family and spend that quality time with them. If that's necessary, then I would encourage you to do that, because there's nothing worse than constantly working and never implementing any breaks or anything. And then what happens is that the ability for you to perform and be able to get things done, it starts to take a nosedive, because you're not implementing an opportunity to be able to take a break. Which another thing I also encourage is power naps. I know, especially with all of us within our crazy lives and balancing a variety of different things and families and everything else, sometimes it's very, very hard to do that. But sometimes a simple 10-minute power nap can go a long way to help you recharge. And I've done that for many years if I can, and even especially put on meditation, something that has affirmations that also are really about really just helping me to really reacclimate and just kind of reshift my mind into deeply focusing on the task at hand, the goals that need to be accomplished. And it really helps, and I'm able to kind of feel refreshed, and then we're able to get back into it. So I encourage, make sure to put those breaks into your success routine, because it will be important for your success. But the other thing also too is nurturing your mind and body, which is so important within any routine, and you have to do it, because these two areas, the body being kind of the vehicle that we use, especially to be able to get anywhere, and then our mind is kind of the mainframe, the system that is there to really help us to target and be able to implement our strategies. So if you're not spending enough time to be able to nurture those things, then what happens is that your effectiveness, the ability for you to get things done, starts to then dwindle and starts to really take a hit. So this is why it's important, especially even with all the things you got to do, you got to take care of yourself and nurture your mind. And that's usually by making sure to block out the noise, turning off any crap that may be on, whether that's the news, or also calibrating sometimes what you're ingesting on your social media feeds, to make sure you're only targeting pages that are only going to help you to keep your mind in a good state, something that's also maybe going to be motivational, inspirational, following certain people that are going to dish out content, especially that's going to keep your mind stimulated and also focused, is also important too, because we all know once we get into the the rabbit hole of social media, you really can kind of get down into this hole of sometimes non-productivity, and it can lead to just not keeping yourself on track. And then especially your body, got to fuel it the right way, fuel with the right foods, and less of the processed stuff, and sometimes the things that we love to maybe snack on, and the carbs and everything else, which is essential for energy, but you want to make sure that it's balanced so that it doesn't get out of hand and it weighs you down, you're lethargic, and, it then slows you down in terms of your performance. So those two go hand in hand. And I encourage you to kind of make sure to implement that and put that into kind of your routine. Make sure to monitor and kind of seeing what you're, ingesting in terms of the feed and in your mind and what's going on. And then also making sure to fuel the body and making sure you're staying active and getting up every once in a while and making sure to kind of just stretch out the body and everything else. It's important. Another thing also too is adaptability and flexibility. So, when you're, really, really wanting to, take your, life and taking, of course, your future in your own hands, it's very important to basically be adaptable. And especially when it comes to your routine, sometimes you have to make adjustments, I can attest to that and kind of let you know, especially that's the epitome of my life, is having to adapt and be flexible depending on whatever situation is thrown at me. And you kind of have to forgive yourself. You might have a day all set to be able to get things done and be productive and everything else, but sometimes you have to take care of urgent issues, and sometimes takes your focus away. And all you got to do is basically just, once whatever the activity or whatever issue that may be going on that you had to take care of right away, take care of it, make sure to get it done, and then just get right back into your routine and maybe make adjustments in terms of the time that you're going to spend on certain projects. You may have to segment it down towards, maybe instead of it being 2 to 4 hours, maybe it's an hour, but you can still make sure you stay accountable to the hour that you're using to be able to get something done. Because really at the end of the day, the results are all really in many cases based upon what you do each and every day. So if you're like, I want to eventually get to the point where I'm making, 10 grand a month and everything. Well, you got to break down the numbers, what it's going to take on a daily basis to be able to get to that particular point. And then, have some type of accountability system, basically say, okay, how did I do this month? Did I hit my goal? If I didn't hit my goal, then why didn't I hit my goal? And then willing to be able to adapt and be flexible to that. And yeah, it's going to take some time, especially no matter what that goal may be. But the best thing you can do for yourself is, our lives are consistent of the days that go by, whether we do the things that we're supposed to do or we don't do the things we're supposed to. This is what separates basically the people who are in the 1% and the people who are in the majority that don't live the lives that they actually are meant to accomplish. And then last but not least, really to take the time to review and reflect. And each and every day that goes by, you want to take that time to do that, because and take an inventory. Don't always beat yourself up because I wish I got this done, or I wish I could accomplish this today. Always highlight the great things that happen within your day. And a lot of times it may take a little time or may take a little effort to try to figure those out, especially sometimes on those rough days. But usually there are some things that went well, and these are the things that you highlight and can kind of help you to boost your motivation and desire to kind of keep going on the journey. It can be hard. And then in those areas of opportunity, especially, write those things down and be able to say, okay, tomorrow, that will be a focus, that will be a concentration, especially so then I don't miss that mark for tomorrow. Because when you're not always having to be micromanaged in a sense where, your time is in many cases given away in bulk to an opportunity or a situation, whatever, you really have to have the discipline then to really keep on track and be able to say, hey, what did I accomplish today that's going to lead me or take me one step closer to where I want to get to. So the best way to be able to do that is review and reflect what happened the previous day, and then kind of going into the next day and saying, hey, well, what can I do to be able to improve upon what I can do better, and then also continue to do the things that are doing, that went well that particular day. How can I continue to stay on that path? And once you do that consistently, I think this allows you to really, really keep yourself accountable. And then also take into account, especially a lot of times, especially, being thankful that you have the opportunity to be on this journey, on this path. It's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to, take this opportunity to really become the person that you're supposed to be. And once you realize that, then you'll know, especially to, give yourself a break every once in a while. Even though we can all be driven, we can all be kind of sometimes intense, I'll admit to that, that's for sure. But I hope you learned a lot out of today. I really, really want to encourage you to really create your ideal success routine, because these are the secrets. These are the things that the highly successful 1% people, they have those daily routines and things that they do each and every day that lead to them accomplishing their goals and, accomplishing the life that they want to have. So I encourage you to be able to, because I want to impart this wisdom and encourage you to be able to build this, because I know that it is almost in many cases one of the most important things that you can do for your life. If you want to see yourself in a position to where you're always constantly in the zone. And that's why I call this show the Willpower Zone, because when you're in the zone, amazing things can happen. So make sure to like and subscribe to the channel and become a listener on the Spotify channel and everything else. But we're going to continue to keep churning out episodes after episodes. And, when you guys, of course, like and subscribe and, comments and, engage in everything else, it just allows us to be able to have the channel to grow and to get out to more and more people, so that I can impact people with the wisdom and things that I've learned over a period of time. So I'm super excited. Stay tuned for the next episode that comes out, but especially, make sure to start building that success routine so that you can live a life that you're always meant to have. So I'll see you guys next time, the next episode.